Hello and welcome back to the course on MetaTrader 4. In today's tutorial, we're going to talk about Bill Williams indicators. Now, if you look on the left navigator here, you will see that there's a whole separate folder for Bill Williams indicators. And there's 6 of them here. So Bill Williams is a very well-known trader, and he kind of revolutionized a lot of things about trading, both philosophically and in the point of view of technical analysis. And if you look him up, you'll find lots of information. He's still around, still trading. He's got lots of videos which you can watch on YouTube if you like. And today we're going to look at this indicator called the alligator. So this was one of the inventions of Bill Williams, which is he is probably best known for. And so I'm going to bring up this chart here, and let's just take the alligator, and without any further ado, let's drag it onto the chart. So there we go. We've got 3 pairs of parameters. So we've got interesting names like jaws, teeth, and lips. Then we've got the method and the median price. So as you can see, we've got the shift here. So some of these might seem familiar, and that's because the lines used in the alligator are actually moving averages. And so if we go into colors, you'll see that the jaws will be blue, the teeth will be red, and the lips will be green. Let's go ahead and click OK. So there we go. That's the indicator. And so what you see here is that's the lips, that's the teeth, and that's the jaws of the alligator. And in order to explain it in a bit more kind of detail, I'll just bring up the help for the alligator. So F1, a good actually way to practice with the help. So just type in Bill here and pick this one, technical indicators alligator. And what you will find is there's some interesting quotes from Bill Williams here, which are worth a read. And what you'll see here is, okay, so this is what I wanted to read out to you. I might zoom in a bit so you can see a bit better. And this is kind of the way probably Bill suggested originally to interpret the indicator. When the jaw, the teeth, and the lips are closed or intertwined, this it means the alligator is going to sleep or is asleep already. As it sleeps, it gets hungrier and hungrier. The longer it will sleep, the hungrier it will wake up. The first thing it does after it wakes up is to open its mouth and yawn. Then the smell of food comes to its nostrils, flesh of a bull or flesh of a bear, and the alligator starts to hunt it. Having eaten enough to feel quite full, the alligator starts to lose the interest to the food. Price balances, lines join together. This is a time to fix a profit. So interesting story, like a little fairy tale about the alligator, and kind of makes a bit more sense why the lines are called jaws, teeth, and lips. And what we basically looked at, or what this story means, is that kind of this line is supposed to be an alligator, kind of think of it metaphorically as an alligator. So here it's intertwined, the lines are intertwined, so the alligator is asleep. But then once the jaws, or this in this case, what is this? The lips are above the teeth, above the jaws, the alligator is waking up and is hungry and it wants to eat. And so therefore you got like a movement. So this is a trend indicator. We spoke of trend and oscillators, and this is a trend indicator, and it's supposed to help you understand when there's a trend in the market and when there's a flat movement. So here you've got another trend, a bit of a flat and a trend. You got a downward trend, a bit of a flat here, and so on. So just be careful that it can give you a lot of false signals, because now you can see that this is all flat, but when it's not visible like that, so let's say it's like this, right? You can't see whether, like, it looks like maybe this is a downward movement that's starting over here, but then if you continue scrolling, it's actually inverted. And so if you enter a sell order here, you will get a stop loss probably. So it sounds great in practice, or it sounds great in theory, but in practice it's a bit harder to implement. And so why it is so popular and famous is because it was a major breakthrough back, I think in the 1980s it was, when this indicator was invented. And back then there were no such things as personal computers, or they were just starting to appear, and nobody had access to calculations that were this quick. And so what Bill Williams and his team did, they put this code somehow into a supercomputer, which wasn't easy at the time. So they programmed a supercomputer to create this indicator, and moreover, they didn't. This is the fun part of the story, or this is what how the story goes: is they didn't put in the parameters right away into the indicator themselves. They said, "What? Let the supercomputer find the optimal parameters for the jaws, the teeth, and the lips, and then we'll see what it comes up with." And the funny thing is that the supercomputer at the time, which is probably no faster than your mobile phone right now. Well, at the time, the supercomputer came up with these parameters 13, 8, and 5, which are, wait for it, which are Fibonacci numbers, right? So they're from the Fibonacci sequence. I know we haven't talked about the Fibonacci sequence in this course. We just talked about the Fibonacci retracement patterns. But if you want to learn more about Fibonacci, the Fibonacci sequence, check out my other course. I think it's actually a free preview lecture in my other course, which is called Forex Trading for Beginners, and there you can learn about Fibonacci numbers, and you will see that these are Fibonacci numbers. So these are some of the initial numbers in the Fibonacci sequence, 5, 8, 13. And the interesting thing was that the supercomputer came up with these numbers, and also Bill Williams, or they call it the mainframe. The mainframe, i.e. the supercomputer, came up with these numbers, and also Bill Williams and his team already knew that the Fibonacci numbers are quite good in describing the markets. And so for them, it was kind of a confirmation that since the mainframe didn't know about the Fibonacci numbers and came up with them through this optimization process, that served as confirmation that what they found was invaluable. And this indicator was very popular for many years, and still is quite popular with some traders. Just be careful when you use it for those reasons. So there we go. That's a small story, small fairy tale about the alligator and how it came to be back in the 1980s/1990s. And in the next tutorial, we will talk about the fractals indicator. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, happy trading.